This is Course 2, Chapter 7, Study Guide, Part 1, and I am Mrs. McCowan. Today we're going to make a frequency table. So, to make a frequency table, we need to make a box. I'm also going to make a histogram on the right side because I want you to know how to make a histogram. So we're going to practice a frequency table on the left and a histogram on the right. Okay, so for my frequency table, I'm going to put data values in. So this would be data values. And then I'm going to put in my frequency. So that's how frequent it happens. And then we're going to do our cumulative. So we're going to add those up one by one. So looking at my numbers, the smallest number in my data set is 11. And my largest number, 10.
Attention.
10 is the lowest number, and the highest number we have is 36. So we're going to do by tens. So I'm going to go 10 to 19. And then I'm going to go 20 to 29. And then we're going to go 30 to 39. Okay, I'd like you to add how many are there for each frequency. Okay, so the first one you should have had 6, then 1. So when we tally these up, the cumulative, we have to do 6 plus 6 is 12, and then 12 plus 1 is 13. You're simply adding this and this to get 12, and then all of these to get 13. Okay, if we were to make a histogram would have these as the intervals. So my first histogram would be 10 to 19, and then I'm going to count by twos. So this would be 6. Then my second histogram would be 20 to 29. And that was 6. And then my last histogram interval would be 30 to 39. And that would be 1. Okay, so the frequency table helps us make our histogram. Okay, number 2, make a stem and leaf plot from the data. So, how do we make a stem and leaf plot? Well, we have to make the stem and we have to make the leaf. The stem is the tens place, the leaf is the ones place. So we have to go from least to greatest. So once again, I see my smallest number is 10, so I put 1, 0, comma. Next I have 11, comma. Then I have 12, comma. Notice I'm only putting the ones place. I don't have to put the tens place again. There's another 13, 15, and that's it for the tens. Next, I'm going to move on to the 20s. I have 20, 21, 27, 28, 29, 29. And then last, I have a 36. So notice that these are in order from least to greatest, and I start with my smallest number and go up. Now if I would have had a number say 51 on here, I would have put 4 and then skipped this and then put 5, 0. I still have to put my 4 to show that there was place value there, but do not put any numbers in the leaves. Okay, number 3, I'd like you to answer on your own. So please pause the video. Okay, the answer to number 3, the mean was 2, the median was 2, and the mode was 2. What was the range? Well, the range was 4 because we subtracted 4 minus 0, which gave us 4. Question number 5. What is the most common number of 3 points? Well, it's pretty easy to note that when looking at this graph, the most common number, that would be the one that is the most, would be 4. And looking at this graph again, which measure's central tendency best describes the data? Is it the mean, the median, or the mode? Well, the mode tells us that 4 occurs the most frequently, but actually it's the median tells us where the numbers are spread out. So the median, which would be the middle number of this set of data, would be the best. Number 7, how many students own 10 or more DVDs? Well, looking at this chart, we can see that 10 or more DVDs, if we add them, 20 and 5, 20 plus 5 is 25. What is the approximate median number of DVDs students own? Well, if we take a look at the median, that would be the number in the middle. That would be this column, 10 to 12, and if you add 10 plus 14, you get 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So the median number of DVDs is 12. Number 9, out of 100 students, 25% chose hockey as their favorite sport. How many students chose hockey? Well, this is a simple problem. All we have to do is, that's right, multiply. So I'm going to multiply 0.25 times 100, and my answer is 25 students. Approximately what percent of the students surveyed chose soccer as their favorite? Well, looking at this graph, I can tell that this amount, 50%, is here, so it's a little bit more than 50%. So I'm going to guess 60% chose soccer as their favorite sport. Which type of display would be the most appropriate to compare the sales of two different stores for a 10-year period? Well, if we're comparing two different stores for a number of time, the correct answer would be a double bar graph. Because we're comparing two different stores, and even though it is a time period, it's not going to be completely accurate if we would do a line graph. A line graph would get messy because you would have a line here and you would have a line here, and that looks messy. So the best way to display that data would be to have a double bar graph. That would be two bars next to each other for each month, for each year, to show the 10-year period. Number 12, what type of graph best represents how data changes over time? Well, I was just talking about it. That would be a line graph, and we took notes on this. So you have this in your notes. The best type of graph that shows change over time is a line graph. Keyword, change over time. Number 13, Jason surveys 21 students in the gym to find out for what sports students want to receive school support. Is this a fair sample or is it biased? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to answer your question. Please write it down. Okay, this is biased. And the reason why this is biased is because it does not represent all students. If it represented all students, then it would be a fair sample. But since he only surveyed 21 to find out what sports they like, that's not fair. These people are already in the gym, and if you're in the gym, you probably like sports. Question number 14. Marion Middle School has 600 students, and Mike surveys a random sample of 30 students and finds that 7 of them play a musical instrument. How many students at the school are likely to play a musical instrument? Well, this is a proportion problem like we did in chapter 4. So if we have 7 out of 30 students say that they play a musical instrument, then how many of that would be out of 600? I'd like you to cross multiply and find your answer. And the correct answer was 140 students. Number 15, what is the most common number of 2-point scores? And the correct answer is B, 2. Clearly shown by 2. Which measure of central tendency best describes the data? Once again, that would be median. The median is the best to describe the data. How many students have 2 or more pets? It clearly shows that if we add the numbers together, that 25 students have 2 or more pets. What is the approximate median number of pets students have? The correct answer is 2. Number 19, out of 100 students surveyed, 30% choose art as their favorite activity. How many students choose art? Clearly the answer is A, 30. Approximately what percentage of students surveyed choose music as their favorite activity? Clearly the answer is C, 40% choose music as their favorite activity. Congratulations, you are ready for the test. If you think you need to study more, you can go back and watch the video again. If you need extra assistance, you can see Mrs. McCown for morning tutoring. Good luck! Thanks for watching.